what's going on, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. I want you to look at something for me. Take a look at how beautiful it is outside. It's a beautiful Florida day. A beautiful day for the first start on the Subaru. We only have one more thing left to do, and that is the downpipe. So we just have to connect the downpipe to the turbo, and from there, pretty much just prime the fuel system and see if we got any leaks on the fuel side. I'm going to tell a little story real quick. So off camera, I pulled the entire front mount air cooler setup off the car, and I went back to the top mount that's sitting right over there. Reason for that is because these pipes weren't fitting. This whole kit came off of a 2008 WRX STI, and I wasn't very sure about, the differences in engine bay and all that. I did find out, however, the batteries on the 08 and up are at a 45-degree angle, so you can fit the intercooler pipe around them. This is the battery that came out of my car. Super massive. And I went to an AGM battery, so it's half the size, so I was able to fit the 90-degree coupler around the battery, so we're good there. I had to do some cutting and some trimming and all that to get these pipes to fit. This one fit no problem. This one was a different story. I had to get a bunch of different couplers and whatnot, so I got the tile blow-off valve to where it's not hitting the intake manifold, pipes aren't hitting the intake manifold, and everything runs how it should. So I did say in the past that we are going to be running speed density on this car, and I have everything set up for speed density. I just don't have a base map yet for this build, but we're going to turn it over and see if it'll fire off. We're not going to run it for a very long time. We're not going to beat on it. We're just going to make sure that everything runs and, is within spec for what we need to do, and then we can go ahead and send the email, get the tune, and then we'll run down a whole tuning video in the future. But for now, we need to just make sure that this guy runs and everything's hooked up perfectly fine. So all I need to do is get this downpipe onto the turbo, hooked up underneath the car, and then we can go ahead and prime it and double check over all of our connections, make sure everything is seated fine, works good, and is clamped down. And then other than that, we're ready for the first start. Well, that was fun. As usual, the exhaust was a little difficult to get on, not too bad. Let's fill this guy up with fluids now. So we have the downpipe on, the mid pipe, it's hooked up to the muffler out back. Everything is tightened down, all the clamps are good. So now it's just fluids. And oil of choice is going to be 2050 VR1. I haven't used this in the past, but I have seen some people use it and they love it, especially on built motors. And the 2050 VR1 is going to help too, because like our turbo oil feed, the banjo bolt is a lot bigger, so that's a reduction in oil pressure. We have different bearings in there that are a touch looser, so we need a little thicker oil to cover that area, keep up oil pressure. But other than that, I just hear it's all around good oil. So these EJs with a stock oil pan, last time I checked, I believe it was like 4.8 something quarts. And this is a 5-quart jug, so we're going to do about 90% of it, and then we'll check the dipstick and see if everything's good. I do see some drops of coolant on the ground. I don't know if that's residual just from missing a little bit here, or if we have another problem in the radiator. So let's find out. We have found the leak. It is always the most simplest things. It was the, right there, you can see the drain plug on the radiator. That was just a touch loose. So I got that guy tightened up. And we're no longer losing coolant. So we got to fill it up with oil. Let's fill it up with the coolant. I'm going to throw some power steering fluid in it, and we should be ready to go. It's probably not going to run the best. May not really even fire. Who knows? Just because I have it set up for speed density, and it is currently tuned for a 93 MAF tune. So we'll see if it'll even fire. We're not going to rev it, we're not going to drive it, we're not going to do anything with it until we get a base map. I just want to make sure it starts and have nothing funky going on and no leaks. And we can go from there. Let's just do a little fire test, see if everything's good. Check this out, looking for some smoke. Alright. I think we are good to keep this battery plugged in. I think it's time to crank it. So as you can probably see from that image, I have a pretty decent fuel leak, and I've located it to the return line on the fuel pressure regulator. So I'm going to pull that regulator off real quick and make sure everything's tight, thread sealed, and we'll try it again. I think I'm going to crank it 2 or 3 more times. I think get this oil light to go away. Alright, I don't have a digital oil pressure gauge. I just have the stock one. And the light's not going away, so I'm going to start it and see if it goes away. If it doesn't, I'm going to shut it off. Alright everybody, well, first starts are fun, but I had to go out of town for a couple days, so it is now a few days later, probably about a week later, and when we started the car, I had no real way of verifying oil pressure, other than pulling off maybe like an old feed line or something to see if it was flowing. The only other thing that I had to rely on was the gauge on the dash, to make sure that light went out, so that it told the dummy switch that there was at least a little bit of oil pressure. So I picked up a Pro Sport gauge. This is an oil pressure gauge for Subarus, and it is a digital one. It's like their Evo series or something they call it. I'm not sure. But we need to go ahead and disassemble the alternator and pull that guy back up out of the way, because their oil pressure gauge sits right back behind there. So we need to get, once we get the alternator off, we can go ahead and get this guy installed and mounted into the car so we can make sure we have oil pressure. Alright, so that's the guy right there that we need to get out. I already popped the connector off of this and I already loosened it up, so all we have to do is just unscrew this guy out of here. Hopefully no oil goes everywhere. Now that that guy's out of the box, let's go ahead and open up this Pro Sport Evo series so we can go ahead and monitor our oil pressure. That is everything in the package. You have your actual digital gauge, your wiring from your sensor to your pigtail, and then your pigtail to there. So this is going to go, how I kind of guess it, is probably underneath the intake manifold, back behind the brake booster, and then we throw it into the firewall down there. there we have it. So this is where the new sensor is going to plug into. I can't tell you how many times I've worked on this car and wished that I had a vise. I used to. Now I don't. Let's get this cleaned up. Alright, so we got the pressure sensor into the block, or the pressure sensor adapter, getting it threaded into the block. And here's the actual pressure sensor itself. It seems like it's some sort of Chinese, so, you know, it'll work great. Alright, so we got the pressure sensor threaded in. Got the wiring ran underneath the intake manifold along with all the other wiring. I have it poking out here. Poking out right over there so that we can get it through the firewall. Need to find the best spot to do that. I'm thinking probably right up in here would lead us right to underneath the dash where we want to mount it. And then we have to do everybody's favorite thing in the world. Wiring. Yay. So let's get these wired up. The brown and the green, they go to the harness, and then this goes to a separate power. This goes to a separate ground on the chassis. And then we'll grab power from the other side of the harness on a switched power. So let's find good spots to mount these. I took off the alternator plug because it is absolutely Chewbacca'd itself. So I just depinned the wiring harness from this plug, and now I have a new wiring harness that I'm going to depin these so I can just reuse the factory wiring and not have to worry about splicing and wondering if it's going to fail. So just take that little blue clip out of the center, and then right where this guy, like the silver piece, connects to the green, you kind of just go down and push. And when you push on that green tab right below the silver piece, you'll be able to pull out your wire. Do the same thing over here. Push down on that piece, and then your wire should pop right out. Good thing too, these prongs look exactly the same. One benefit of buying OEM replacements, instead of having to splice it in, you can just run it in how you normally would. And so I took a picture of how this went before. It's kind of how it looks. Then you hear the click. The two prongs are in. We can go ahead and replace the blue piece to lock down all the connectors. And that is a new alternator plug. Big difference. It's little intricacies like this on each build that just kind of set it apart from everybody else. I figured since we had all the wiring stuff out, we can go ahead and just knock it out real quick. So let's go ahead and get this alternator reset up. It's just going to be the one power wire. Oh yeah, gotta love a clean click. Got that in there, a little slack. We can go ahead and run this guy into the firewall. Alright, so I'm in the car. I got most of the wiring ran underneath the dash, and I'm kind of just waiting on a few things now. I think I'm going to do the gauge pods over here just so I can monitor a few things that my access port can't with this car. And then we just got to plug it in and see if we got oil pressure. But by the looks of the valve that came out, or the oil pressure sensor that was there was some oil in it. I mean, I guess that's a good sign, because if there's oil in it, there's oil pressure. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the first start. There's some sounds that, you know, I'm not the most sure about, but we need to figure out one thing at a time. If we have oil pressure, where these sounds are coming from. It just kind of sounds like rattling to me. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Pretty sure I put everything together right, so that's it's a guessing game when you're new at building motors. So, but got the car on, got it running. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here. I appreciate every single one of you sticking around and watching until the end of this video. It means the world to me. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of you. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.